Hey, woo, it's half of me. Good evening, everybody. It's Brad.
And Christa.
I'll just be over here. Just the beard can be
I told
in
you
the.
the camera was messed
you
up.
can mess with the. Hey, everybody. It's Brad. That's your cue, honey.
And Christa.
There we go.
No, it's still not right.
You got to twist the camera. With the Big Family Homestead. I hope you guys are
Hair.
good.
Well, it was. I told you it wasn't right beforehand.
Well, she did.
You're
but
like,
I knew
it's
it.
okay.
I
Don't
know.
worry about it.
Because what'll happen, what you guys don't know is even though I have all this high-tech stuff, that camera is literally held onto a broken tripod with a rubber band that breaks every week.
Yeah.
And I just have no time to fix it. So it's one of those things, even though it gets used every day because of our devotionals, it's one of those things I go, I'll fix it later. Even though it gets used every day.
Right. Every single day. Sometimes twice a day.
So anyway, How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you're having a great night.
Yep.
Are you?
I am.
You are?
Yes.
Do tell.
Got a nap.
Did you?
I did.
It was a long one.
It was a long one.
I actually came in after quite a while and just said gently, I said, you can keep sleeping if you want, but you're already sleeping for a very long time here.
Yeah.
And I won't give exacts. It
It was a while.
Yeah. GRS, Art of Worship. Sounds like home. Yeah. Cool. Art of Worship. I'm interested. GRS. What is that? I wonder if that's a church name.
Yeah.
Anyway, officially, hi. We have got some really great news stories and historical things and cool all around, don't bring you down like the regular news stories.
Mm-mm.
But before we do, while we're waiting for people to come up, honestly, it's to stall a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tell you a little bit about what's going on. First of all, though, it's raining like crazy here, so I'm surprised that the internet is working well. But if it does not, then you'll know what happened.
If it all of a sudden stops, then you'll know the power went out.
Hey, there's the cook and share.
Hi. There's a lot of lightning going on right now. So
Yeah.
who knows? You never know.
Yeah, the cook and share. Okay, here's the deal. He's got a great channel, and you should go check it out. Great recipes. And I've been trying to hook up with him, but it just seems like every doggone time we do a collaboration, something goes wrong. Like,
bummer.
yeah.
Bummer.
I mean, it's been crazy, but good channel. Check him out. You'll like the recipes.
Yeah.
He's made me a little bit chubbier. So, yeah, I do blame you personally.
That was my fault.
Well, his recipes, whatever. So other stuff going on. Horse Training City.
Horse training. Hope is actively, every day, she does something different and something new with whiskey. She's set up her round pen, and she's changing out the obstacles that are in there. She switches it out every day. Not every day, every couple of days, I think. And she's just adding new things. So it's really cool, and he's doing really well. This past Friday, okay, some of you may know, some of you may not. Hope goes to riding lessons, but Hope pays for them herself.
Yeah.
She does work a job, and she pays for those riding lessons, and she pays part cash and part work. So she goes there from 9 to 1
To get a discount.
to get a discount. So she mucks out stalls and feeds the animals and moves hay and things like that, as well as getting her riding lesson that day. So she took whiskey up this last time.
Yeah.
And her instructor was very impressed with how smart he is, and just really hopeful that not hopeful, but she really knows that he's going to be a good horse for her. So, yeah, really
Hope's
happy
got
about
all
that.
her stuff, her doodads all set up out there.
Well, and you know what's really funny? I found out that her instructor is allergic to horses and hay.
Really?
And she's got like 20, 30 horses at her place.
Huh.
And she's allergic.
That is one dedicated horse chick.
She must really love horses.
She loves them.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
I thought that was really funny.
I can't wait till Hope gets to the blindfolding the horse in a labyrinth puzzle game. That'll be good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So other stuff. Who loves flies in your house? because I don't.
No.
And we have, it seems like for every 4 I kill, 8 more bring their buddies in.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure how they're getting in.
And you know, we hang the fly paper. I hate it. I hate the fly paper. It's gross.
Yeah.
But it's effective.
It is effective. Yeah.
And so, oh, yuck. I don't know about you guys.
It's yucky, and we're constantly smashing flies, cleaning up fly guts, and changing out fly paper.
Flies.
It's just how things are up here in the summertime, and that's okay. It's a short amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, it's only a couple of months, so you know, it's. I think we can handle that.
Our daughter Ruth had a birthday.
Yes.
Yes, she had
11.
a birthday. She's 11sies. 11sies.
Her youngest
Do
child
they know about
is
Newton
11.
T?
No, they don't know about that one.
I don't think he knows about that, Pip.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys make comments in movie quote names and titles and fun comments, makes it a little bit more fun. Jump on in there. Don't be afraid. The water's fine. So, just toe in the water. Don't even need to do that. Just jump in.
Right. Just jump in.
Matter of fact, I'm waiting to see one of our folks who comes to the Bible devotion that we do Monday through Friday, Big Family Devotions channel, 8:30 a.m. in the morning, is the Bulletproof Pastor. And he called me today. He called me and he said, I just screeched a little screech like a little girl. And this is a retired man, pastor, right? Because he said he went into his workshop and lo and behold, what scurried across the floor right in front of him? A skunk. He did not get sprayed. But he said he's going to leave him in there. I was like, well, what kind of plan is that, man? He goes, well, if you shoot it, it's going to spray. I was like, well, what if it decides that's its home? What are you going to do? You could come at it with like a leaf blower.
You hire somebody to come and that does that to come and deal with it. I draw the line at dealing with skunks. You're gonna pay somebody to come here and take care of this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What she said.
Yeah.
There's a snake in my boot.
Right.
Good comp. See,
there you go.
Dan's got it. Dan's got it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Tanya says she'd be screeching too. Yeah, I probably, if I saw a skunk, I probably would run screaming. However, like snakes don't bother me anymore.
Because the ones up here are not poisonous.
Yes.
When we lived in Florida, everything wanted to kill you.
Exactly. So here they're just garter snakes and rat snakes and I don't know.
There's corn snakes.
Corn snakes. They're very harmless, and you actually want them around.
They eat the mice and moles
We
and
keep
stuff.
finding them in the garage though, and I'm like, Kat, you're supposed to get rid of those.
Yeah, they can be outside. That's fine.
Right. Outside, fine. Not inside. So Caleb, he's like, look what I found. I'm like, okay, take it outside.
Bites him on the eyelid. Like, what was that? The crocodile hunter. Remember that guy? He was awesome. When that thing first came out, he was always grabbing snakes and picking them up and is like dangling them, and then they attack him. He'd be like, as you can see, this is quite painful. And he's like bleeding from his eyes and stuff. It was kind of, I hated to see when he died because he was such a cool guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell that's like one positivity, like, just through the roof, adrenaline all the time.
The Energizer Bunny on crack?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Michelle. Good to see you here. Second time. Okay. So other stuff going on. We built, or finished, I should say, our sheep/goat pen / milking stand.
Yes. And so we got the other two sides on, and actually partial on the north side, so that there was some sort of wind block there. But yeah, we built the milking. Brad built mostly the milking stand, and then I did the headlock part and got it all done. And it took her probably twice of needing help to get in there, and now she's just up there. I asked Hope tonight if I needed to take that sideboard down. She said, yeah, it would be better for her. It would be easier for her to get in and out.
We put up a guard board so she wouldn't fall.
Right, but now it doesn't need to be there
We'll do a video of it because it was all scrap wood.
Yep.
And it's sturdy enough to hold my personage.
Yes.
My carriage.
We were sitting on it, no problem. Not together, but, separate.
Oh, man. Crikey. I love it.
Yeah.
So there you go. You should all respond in crocodile hunter isms.
Yeah.
That would be good.
All right. So 2 people have asked us where we're from. Are you guys asking us where we're from? Or are you asking other people where you're from?
Because we're from central Wisconsin.
Yes, we live in central Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yes.
And Douglas knows exactly
Yes.
where we live. And so does
Yes.
Dan, the B-Man. And so does the
Yes.
Ware family.
Yes, Dan. And
Matter of fact,
They've
watch
been here.
this. Hold still. I'm not going to do anything crazy. Don't get all excited. The Don. Douglas is related to the Don.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that's funny.
Yeah, it's
Too funny.
haven't seen him in a while, man. I miss
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
So, other stuff. We did finally get the barn completely
Clean.
organized.
Oh, and then we made it a mess again, though.
It's not bad
Just
now.
wood. There's wood on the ground, but all of our tools, all of our bits, all of our ratchets are all organized.
Where in Florida did we live? Well, I grew up in Lakeland, and then we moved over to the Sarasota, Bradenton area, then north of Tampa. We lived in Waimama.
Spring Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah, we met in Bradenton.
yeah,
And,
yeah. Went to Manatee High School, home of the Fighting Sea Cow. Not really.
No, it's the Hurricanes.
It was the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Which is really weird because it's the Hurricanes, but it's Manatee High School, and the name of the mascot is Billy Blowhard.
Yeah, well, it's because it's Manatee High School because it's in Manatee County. That's why.
I know, but it's
lame. Yeah.
Baby Taquito wants prepper games to come back. Maybe I can think something up, brother. Okay. So what for right now? It's time. It's time, Mom.
What's the time?
It's time for Deep Thoughts from the Homestead. Oh, soothing music. Yes. Of course. Yes. So, this is a time where you share what you have learned this week. What is the thing that Tina Elliott learned this week? Yeah. Type it in there. Where family, you have to have learned something this week. I know it. What about
yes.
Terry? Everybody's got to type something in, and then while we're waiting to see the best entry, you'll get cool points awarded. By the way, cool points. They don't really get much except accolades from the internet. But so, Mom, what did you learn this week?
Well, okay. So you guys know we have a milk cow, and she gives us a ton of milk every day. And so I have learned that I really enjoy making the farmer's cheese, but I don't have a way to sell it. It's not legal to sell because I don't have a commercial kitchen.
No commercial kitchen, no license.
No. And I'm not going to pay $700 to get that said license. I think that's how much it is.
Huh.
It's a ridiculous amount of money. So, I gotta start sharing more around.
Well,
Because our freezer's filling up.
Yeah. Jess, come on over. Get some cheese.
No kidding. And no, we don't have any more coleslaw in the refrigerator. So.
Oh, she learned some nice things. I canned corn with my wife. Very good, Terry.
Nice.
I have too much stuff, says AZ.
Good. And she's cleaning
All
up.
right.
Awesome.
Taught that I could teach a millennial Roman numerals. Can you teach them cursive? That sounds like a joke.
It's not
So
a joke.
2 millennials walk into a bar. I don't know.
That's funny.
A mama bunny can have a hutch under a very small pile of leaves in the garden. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone learns something new every day.
Oh, she learned how to make ghee. That's awesome, Susan.
Ghee. All right. So I learned that...
Oh, wait, hold
What?
on. Michelle says, I learned that tomato hornworms not only come out at night, they also come out during the day. Yes, they're like always on the plant. But I did learn that if you go out at night with a black light,
they'll glow.
they'll glow and you can find even the little itty bitty baby ones.
So then they can be eradicated.
Yeah.
Order 66 on them.
Yes, I know you didn't ask about coleslaw. She asked about toastlaw.
Toastlaw. Oh.
Because it fell on my foot.
Yeah,
and
she
down
was here.
my slipper, and it was disgusting.
Yeah. So I learned, or probably remembered, I can't help it. I tried not to let it happen, but it did. I still love 80s music. And I'm never going to give you up. I'm never going to let you
80s?
down.
Is that 90s? I thought that was 90s.
That's Rick Astley's got to be 80s. Never going to give you up.
Well, let's find out.
Well, somebody out there can do it. You're supposed to be busy right now.
1987.
Never going to give you up.
So there you
You
go.
just got Rick-rolled, people.
I totally got rickrolled.
Kettle Storm. All right. I learned how to make camping bread on a fire tonight.
Cool.
No, actually, that's a video we're going to make tomorrow is no bake bread.
Yep.
Yep. Anyone learn how to get rid of Japanese beetles? Okay.
Oh, Susan
Rickrolled.
also learned how to render her pig lard. That's awesome.
Lola
Low
Granola.
and slow.
That is the tempo. Okay, so what is your favorite 80s band, people? What do you like? Mine would have to be anything hair rock. I know that's not one band, but I really like Genesis. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I like Yes. They're really great. And then all hair rock. I don't know. What do you guys like?
Whatever's
I'll pray
on the
for you.
radio.
Never gonna give you
That's
up.
funny. Oh my gosh.
All right, let's get back to the brass tacks here, folks.
The brass tacks.
Yeah, brass tacks. I think it's just about time for some good news.
Okay.
Do you?
Sure.
All right.
Sounds good.
Let's switch gears.
It's good.
Let's do it.
It's good.
Let's do it.
It's good.
Let's find this thing here. Good news. Good news. Engage. Slingshot. Engage. So if you're new here, the way this Brock. If you're new here, these are all good news stories. And we like to share them because I miss the radio show host, Paul Harvey. Duran, sweet.
Dawkin.
Dawkin.
I went to high school with a girl who loved Dawkin.
Poison.
Loved Dawkin. We
Oh.
actually know somebody who played in
We've got a
Dawkin.
friend who played bass for Dawkin.
Yeah.
Actually, he comes onto this show every once in a while. His name's Barry Sparks, and he's an incredibly gifted bass player.
Yes. Yes.
Metallica. Okay.
All right.
Don't stop.
Oh, sorry.
Conceive
Hold on.
it.
My glasses are dirty. Hold on. Don't stop. What?
Well, she's a doula.
Okay. That's true.
She's a doula.
That's true.
And not the oblongata kind.
No. No.
All right. Mark,
All
set,
right.
go.
So, Mendon, Missouri, population 171. There's really nothing here. The tiny town is located off Route 11, just south of Yellow Creek. You're 3 hours west of St. Louis, 2 hours east of Kansas City. It's quiet, no attractions, no major landmarks. Nobody famous ever lived here unless you count Vern Kennedy, right-hander for the White Sox, circa 1934. If you're looking for entertainment in Mendon, your main option is Busch Light. But you'll have to drive all the way to Brunswick to find a liquor store.
Whoa.
We're just country folk, said Mendon native Carol Ann Wamsley. And that's what makes us a special place. It's at its heart, Mendon is a railroad town. The first iron tracks were laid in 1887. Within a decade, a town sprang up. You had a few dozen storefronts, a school, a newspaper, and a couple of churches with steeply conflicting views on eternal damnation. Most of that is gone now. Today, the Atkinson, Topeka,
Atchison, yeah.
and Santa Fe Railroad line still passes the northwest side of the community. Only now it's the Southern Transcon Railroad. The Amtrak Southwest Chief runs through town regularly. On summer afternoons, you can see the Amtrak locomotive in the distance, racing across the prairie like a polished chromium bullet. But the train never stops here. It just keeps moving. Until last week. It was a Monday that will live in infamy. The Southwest Chief made an unexpected stop near Mendon, of all places. The chief was traveling 87 miles per hour, bound for Chicago. There were more people aboard than there are living in the Mendon's city limits. Up ahead, a dump truck was stalled on the tracks. The truck was obstructing the crossing of County Road 113. This was not a small truck. This was a vehicle about the size of a Sonic drive-in. The train never slowed. The sound of the collision could be heard far away from far away as Westville, which I did look up is 16 miles away. It was the noise of 2 General Electric diesel locomotives and 7 superliner cars plowing into a mass of Dearborn steel. The train was derailed. Ron Goulet was riding coach. I was airborne. Everything was tumbling. People on top of people. The train rolled onto its right side, the entire train, except for the front locomotive. Carry-on bags went everywhere. Elbows collided with craniums. Shoes crashed into jaws. Children clashed against the ceiling. When I climbed up and out of the train, and said Ron, I was stunned that the entire thing was lying on its side. Not in a jumbled mess, but all laid over on the side. The story made national headlines, of course. Reporters from national newspapers visited. They photographed, videoed, and wrote. Cable news anchors wore frowny faces and mentioned the wreck just before cutting to commercials urging elderly viewers to reverse mortgage their livers. But somehow the bigger story about what happened in Mendon was lost. Somehow you didn't hear about Mendon's magnificent people. Sure, you heard about the wreck itself, the 150 injured and the 4 fatalities, but you didn't hear about how the residents of Mendon, nearly every single resident, raced to the scene of the accident. Throngs of ordinary townspeople arrived before first responders even knew about the crash. There were volunteers crawling out of the wallpaper. It was a wonderful problem to have, said School District Superintendent Eric Hoyt, but we probably had too many volunteers show up. People came from all over Chariton County, riding beat-up Silverados, ATVs, or arriving on foot. They came from Sumner, Merceline, Cunningham, and Brookfield, and Indian Grove. 2 Boy Scout troops dutifully helped injured victims from the wreckage. Local high schoolers were fashioning bandages out of bandanas. Old women recited the Lord's Prayer alongside strangers in blood-stained clothes. There were farmers, off-duty nurses, truck drivers, soccer moms, little league coaches, and grade schoolers. They were doling out food, first aid, bottled water, and most importantly, phone chargers. Victims were taken to local homes, fed, bathed, and bandaged. Weeping passengers were embraced by rural preachers. Passengers using wheelchairs were lifted from the rubble by young men in ropers and camouflage caps. Local school bus drivers transported the wounded to hospitals. Northwestern High School staff members triaged victims in the gymnasium and fed people in the cafeteria. One resident said that Mendon didn't feel like a 171-person town anymore. It was like 671 came together. And at the most unusual thing about all of this is, none of this is unusual, at least not within the national tapestry that is the great American small town. Although we rarely hear about such acts of compassion and loving kindness within our society, believe me, they happen. Every day, every hour, ordinary Americans will astound you with their goodwill. Sadly, ordinary American journalists aren't interested in being astounded by such things.
Wow.
Yeah. That is
why it is good news.
Yeah.
Not that the crash happened and not that folks lost their lives, but that it only takes a second for people to clue in and lend a hand and jump in and not wait around to be told, oh, well, you should go and do this.
Right. Right.
Small town, building community, folks. This is what we're about.
Right.
This is exactly what we're about. And with the stuff that's coming in our society, you should do your best to be building community where you're at now.
Yeah.
So
there was somebody asked, is this a true story?
Yeah, it just happened.
Just happened on July 2nd. You can look it up. Mendon, Missouri.
Yeah, that picture is real.
Accident. It's real. It just happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yep. All right. So my story is a little bit different and shorter.
Mine was 3 pages.
You picked it.
I did. I know.
So this boy A couple of weeks ago, I was teary. Carson came in and asked what was wrong. I read him a Facebook post about a mother of a 16-year-old girl with special needs looking for a date for her daughter to go to her school prom, and he said, Mom, I will do it. Yeah. And so he did. We went the day before her prom to decorate her room and let Izzy meet Carson. Then he accompanied her to prom where she was crowned Duchess. Afterward, he sat in her room over an hour and watched cartoons with her. So tender, this boy. Izzy is a darling girl, nonverbal, wheelchair-bound, on a feeding tube and mostly uncommunicative. However, there were a few times when her eyes met Carson's and she lit up like the 4th of July.
That's awesome.
And well, so did he. We are all far more alike than we will ever be different. In a world full of choices, choose kindness. Mm-hmm. Just a story about a boy I am blessed to call son. He makes me want to be better and do better, said his mom.
That's so
Isn't that
awesome.
nice?
That is so awesome.
I'm telling you, people, there's still good out there.
Mm-hmm.
I know that media wants to beat you down.
Right.
Don't buy the lie. There's more good folks that want to do good things and build community than all the negative garbage that they say they just want to tear you apart.
Right.
Don't believe them.
No.
Don't believe them.
All right. During 2 months, June and July, the president spent many hours composing that document. Not even the White House was private enough or quiet enough for that purpose, so the president chose to work in the cipher room of the War Department telegraph office. It was a matter of much delicacy. No president had ever grabbed at so much power ever before. Indeed, he was ripping into the very Constitution of the United States. The justification he would claim wartime. That was the only way the president could legally do what he was about to do, and so it was there in the solitude of that secret room, studying the constitutional implications, pondering the possible ramifications, writing, perhaps praying. Not even the president's own cabinet could be apprised of the document until it was finished. After American history in high school, you may have thought you knew all anyone could ever know about President Abraham Lincoln and his Emancipation Proclamation. But your teacher did not know the whole story. Abe Lincoln said, my paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union. It is not either to slave or to destroy slavery. If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it. Lincoln made the statement in 1862 after the Emancipation Proclamation had already been written, and yet before its existence had been announced. Following the advice of his Secretary of State, the president withheld his proclamation until the war started, going better for the North. Otherwise, critics may have deemed it a desperation measure. The document directly encouraged freed Southern slaves to seek out the nearest Union fort and join the Northern Army. And yet there was another conceivable consequence of that proclamation, which haunted Lincoln. What if all those freed slaves simply came north? Supposing they did throw themselves upon us in large numbers, what should we do with them? How would we care and feed such a multitude? Indeed, there were many Southern sympathizers in the northern states, voters who recalled with some bitterness the Republican platform on which Honest Abe had been elected, a platform opposed to interfering with the property claims of the South. And those who held Lincoln accountable would not tolerate such a black tidal wave. In retrospect, we realized that the Emancipation Proclamation was inspired almost entirely by military and political considerations. Lincoln definitely needed the support of the politically powerful abolitionists who were deserting him in droves. After all was said and done, few of them fully comprehended the rest of the story, for slavery remained legal in several northern states. The Emancipation Proclamation never did apply to them during his lifetime. In fact, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't even apply to certain areas of the Deep South. The Emancipation Proclamation affected only the slaves in those areas of the South which were rebelling against the North. And there in those states, nobody paid attention to Abe Lincoln anyway. Now you're understanding why I requoted this quote. His quote, "If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it." Well, he did it. The Emancipation Proclamation, later to be regarded as one of the great human rights documents of all time. The Emancipation Proclamation freed not one slave, not one.
Wow. That's sobering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially since the intent, I think, was obviously to get rid of it, but he didn't know how to do it without a big political and military stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad. So that one's a history one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. A dedicated charity shop volunteer spends 12 hours a week commuting to and from work despite being, boom, 100 years old. What? David Fluker celebrated his centennial birthday this week, but still went to work the next day, as usual, at the St. Columba's Hospice Shop in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Edinburgh.
Yeah.
I know there's no O at the end.
I know.
It's Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, Scotland. David spends 4 hours traveling round trip to the shop, which he does regardless of the Baltic weather. The sprightly, that's the word, sprightly widower started working in the charity shop after he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and spent 2 weeks being cared for by the hospice. He just wanted to pay it forward for the kindness he received.
That's awesome.
It is a wonderful feeling to be doing something, said the senior, who lives in Ballgreen, Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
I know. It's 2 buses and a 20-minute walk to get to the shop. At least 2 hours, he explained. I work 3 days a week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which are the busiest days. The grandfather of 7 says the shop and Ocean Terminal gets a lot of donations, and he checks them all out to see if they're okay. We get a lot of toys, books, jigsaw puzzles. We've got to check them all over. But what he loves the most is the social aspect of his work when people come in just to chat. Back at the thrift shop, people come in to deliver well wishes, and there was a marvelous birthday cake covered in raspberries.
Yum.
There might be more birthday cakes, said the cheeky Scotsman. All right.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Oh
now
goodness.
time for our shameless plug. Here it is, guys. You ready? On your mark, get set. Go, Mom, go. We got to pay the bills somehow.
Okay. So, the July specials for Thrive Life right now are awesome.
Freeze-dried food.
Freeze-dried food, so delicious. There's no fee to sign up.
To be a
monthly delivery customer. It's easy to change what you want in your cart. It's easy to cancel. You can skip a month. You can put whatever you want on your cart. If you spend over $100, you get free shipping, which right now
that's pretty banging.
pretty good. And so there's all of these deals you can see on the graphic there, 30% off if you buy all of the pantry cans of these. The tomato powder, oh my gosh,
that's
so
one of our faves.
Delicious.
We use it in so many things.
I use it all the time.
I've even found myself putting the tomato powder in things that already are very tomatoey, just because it adds this bold extra layer of, wow, that's tomato.
Right. It's awesome in stews and soups, and it just adds some added.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite one? Your favorite ingredient? Probably the mushrooms. They're nice and big pieces.
The mushrooms and the blueberries, I think.
Blueberries. Oh my gosh.
The peach. I don't have just one favorite. I like the peaches. I like the the tomato powder, the apples are really good. They're really, really good.
Yep.
So it's, yeah.
And this
so
what's
many that I
another
like.
thing that's cool about this food, guys, is that it beats inflation, because you know why? It's going to be as fresh the day you buy it for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of believing that food's going to go up more in the next 30 years in terms of price.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and the thing with these it's just those ingredients. Like, there's no added anything to the zucchini or the mushrooms
It's just
or the
zucchini,
broccoli.
yep.
Now, for the apples, they're citric acid because you don't want brown apples. They have to put them in a citric acid thing, and then
or else they'll
freeze dry them. So otherwise they turn brown and gross. But yeah, no, it's just like tomato powder. It's just tomatoes. They're so good.
Yep.
So
anyway, free to sign up to become a delivery customer. And if you're interested in a business side of things, this is a great side business, folks. Or a lot of people make their entire living on this. And we've been very blessed. We don't see, here's the thing about it. It's very, very affordable to sign up. Is there a $100 package right now?
Yes.
There's only, and it's all food.
You
getting food.
You get, I think 90% of the kit that you get is food.
Right. And we don't make it. It's not like what's that other one? That big one. Oh shoot. They sold the soap all the time. I can't think of it.
Oh, Amway.
Yeah. It's not like that.
Yeah.
You don't buy the products, we don't store the products, we don't ship the products. It's everything is drop shipped.
Right.
You just have a website that's only $10 and then folks like you jump on and grab something to fill up your pantry, and then everybody wins.
Yep.
So
it's awesome.
there you go. All right,
awesome.
back to the good news.
Yep.
Let's get back to, where is it? I can't see it. See
There.
it. Right there. All right.
You're wearing your glasses too.
I know, it's bad. My eyes are going.
It's too bad you can't increase the font size over there.
Well, that's way across the room. So what are you gonna do?
I know. All right, this is a really, really neat story.
Is this the one where?
Yes, this one.
Okay. Yeah, this is super cool.
This is really neat. I think I got all the neat stories.
You did. You picked
did.
them though.
I didn't put them in that order.
That's okay.
You put them in that order. You should have changed them up.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Anyway, Ed Heimberger was 35, a U.S. Naval Reserve, fresh out of boot camp, lieutenant junior grade. He had never seen a war close up before. Now, November 22nd, 1943, he was in the middle of one. The Allies were invading the Gilbert Islands in the Pacific. The Marines were preparing to attack the Japanese stronghold of Tarawa, but their landing craft were stymied to the coral reefs. 100 or so were waiting in 200 yards from shore. Easy pickings for Japanese machine gunners, watching this massacre of American soldiers from the deck of the destroyer. Lieutenant Heimberger's mouth fell open in horror. Why doesn't somebody do something? He exclaimed to the soldier next to him. At least try to rescue those kids. The other soldier shook his head, answering, anyone who tries will get killed too. Ed Heimberger gritted his teeth. That doesn't mean that nobody should try, he said, and with that the lieutenant put down his binoculars and started below. Where are you going? The other soldier called out. Ed did not answer. It was only minutes later, however, the observers aboard the Sheridan and nearby Schroeder saw a tiny boat speeding away from the former. A small, shallow draft craft piloted by a solitary soldier headed straight for the sitting Duck Marines. That lone angel of mercy was, of course, Lieutenant Ed Heimberger. Approaching the watery battlefield, Ed was stunned by the sights staring back at him, but by the sounds shattering his ears. Reef-bound Marine landing craft full of dead men and in flames, uniformed bodies bobbing in the red-stained lagoon, and then the wounded, the drowning, the dying, crying for help over the clatter of Japanese artillery fire. Ed slung his body over the side of his tiny vessel, clinging by an arm and a leg, reached out to a screaming man, pulled one aboard. Then two, then three, and more. Angry machine gun bullets searching for the 50-gallon drums of high-octane gasoline in the rear of his rescue craft spattered the hull, probably, missing Ed by inches. But the intrepid lieutenant, after jerking 6 or 7 Marines from the sea of death, sped back to the Sheridan, deposited them there, and then headed out for more. He would never make it back alive, his buddies had insisted, but Ed Heimberger did make it back, along with 79
Whoa.
troops who otherwise would surely not have made it back. 79 wounded Marines brought safely to the destroyer Sheridan and Schroeder in more than a dozen round-trip rescues by a 35-year-old sailor on his first invasion tour. When the war was over, the Marines went home. The Navy somehow forgot all about Lieutenant Heimberger and the reckless, selfless one-man mission that earned him the recognition he never received. That is, he did not receive it until October of this year, 1997. For it was by veterans in East Berlin, Pennsylvania, that the belated Bronze Star inscribed with a V for valor was bestowed on the man we had neglected to thank. When once upon a bloody lagoon in Gilbert Islands, there was a lieutenant fresh from boot camp who remarkably set his own safety aside for the sake of his comrades, and then returned stateside to be honored only as a character named Oliver Douglas on a television show called Green Acres.
Wow.
I hope now you will always remember Lieutenant Ed Albert Heimberger, Eddie Albert, the hero of Tarawa.
Wow. Green Acres.
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
You know, you hear about these guys that ended up making it into film.
Yeah.
And were actually heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, the guy who plays Scotty on Star Trek, the original,
mm-hmm.
he was a war
Yep.
hero.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them. And hats off to you. If I had a hat, hats off.
Yeah.
And you, sir, deserve more than a Culver's burger or more than 79. Whatever you want, man. Come on over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on over. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Hats off to you. All right. My heart was absolutely bursting. A few weeks ago, the Lord planted a seed in my heart to go to the college campus and offer up free mom and dad hugs. To every hugs. So today, Matt and I went and spent several hours doing just that. We held up signs and asked every student, professor, or staff member that passed us if they wanted a hug. And let me just tell you, we hugged until our arms fell off. We smiled until our cheeks were sore. We gave hundreds of hugs. Happy hugs, sad hugs, bear hugs, rib-cracking, back-breaking hugs. There were a few people who saw our sign and sprinted to us.
Aww.
And there were some who came back between classes for extra hugs. There were a few who passed by and did the first thing with polite nods, but then turned around and came back because they decided they did need a hug after all. Mm-hmm. We had a few precious heart melt moments in our arms because they were overwhelmed with school and exams, and we had a few tell us that through the tears that they weren't able to go home for the holidays this year, and were in need of extra mom and dad hugs. Our kids are, yeah. One beautiful girl told me she just lost her mom earlier this year, and she let me hug her for a good 10 minutes while we both cried. A sweet man who is currently losing his daddy to cancer hugged Matt extra tightly. Over and over, I got so overwhelmed by the goodness of God and the way he loves us. Our feet are sore, our arms are sore, our ribs are sore, but our hearts are so full.
I'm glad I didn't read that one.
Oh man.
Wow.
Somebody cutting onions in here?
No kidding. No.
Wow. What a powerful way to be there for people.
Just to be there. Kids need that so much.
Especially in college. They are just working them over and abusing them in terms of just forcing professors' wills on them instead of just letting them do what they're supposed to be there to do, which is be educated.
And these kids go from living at home from the time they're born till they're 18 years old, and they're expected to leave and
change
everything and be on their own. And a lot of these kids can't cope with that. They can't cope with the stress, the stress of going from high school where they don't have to worry about money or anything like that because mom and dad are helping them out with everything until they go out, and then now they have to be responsible, and and kids are not being prepared properly is the problem.
Well, here's the thing too. I know a lot of the names here because we know a lot of you guys, and a lot of you say, well, what can I do to help build community, or what can I do to be, a part of ministry? Well, there you go. Mm-hmm. How about that? I don't know if it gets much more personal than just being there for somebody when they're hurting.
Yeah.
And that everybody can do a hug.
Oh, yeah.
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 Hug a bear.
My goodness.
Okay,
gracious.
So here's the thing about you guys got to stick with this story.
Yes.
Because it does not start out good. I'll just warn you right now. It's not a joke. Doesn't start out good.
No.
But it turns out pretty amazing.
Really great. Yeah. A German soldier thought at first he heard a rat. There was no way to keep rats off a cargo ship. But the sailor checked anyway, and he kicked around among the crates, hoping to flush the varmint. And what he scared out into the light instead was a little boy, no older than 10. Now this was 1904. A small child of African ancestry was about the last thing one might expect to discover aboard a German freighter back then. Yet there he was, scared and hungry, wondering what fate awaited him. He was taken to the captain who had been sailing in and out of American ports for years, understood and spoke enough English to communicate with the youngster, and thus the captain learned the rest of this little boy's story. That the small stowaway, his name was Eugene Bullard. He told the captain about what had happened back home in Columbus, Georgia, about how his daddy had gotten into a fight with a white overseer at the warehouse where he worked. The other fellow had hit Eugene's father over the head with a bailing hook. Daddy had responded by hurling the attacker down the flight of stairs. The owner of the warehouse gave Eugene's father $10, which was a small fortune in those days, and advised him that he gather up his family and get out of town, because even as they spoke, the lynch mob might be forming. Well, Daddy nodded and took the $10, quickly readied his wife and children for their journey. But later, in the borrowed wagon on the back country road, little Eugene burst into tears. "I hate white folks," he explained over and over between sobs. His daddy said he should hush. He said there was good and bad under all kinds of skin. But there was a place he had heard about, a place long, far away, a place called France, where the shade of a man's hide didn't seem to matter so much. Well, then little Jean announced, "I'm going there. I'm going to France." And so it was that the little boy later seized his chance and ran away to France. In Norfolk, Virginia, He he sneaked aboard the German freighter, was discovered after 3 days at sea. When the child had finished telling his story, the German captain stroked his beard thoughtfully. Did Eugene think he could handle the job in the ship's galley, he asked. The boy's worried visage slowly softened, and then broke into a big grin. Oh, he could handle the job just fine, he said, and he handled the job just fine. At once they reached the port, the kindly German crew took up a collection and told the youngster to put the money in his shoe. So little Eugene Bullard made it to France after all, and within a few years more, he made history. For you see, in the annals of military aviation, there is remembered a revered World War I French flying ace, recipient of the coveted Croix de Guerre, I don't know, some gear.
Yeah.
A combat pilot of unsurpassed skill and bravery, and the first ever black combat pilot anywhere. They called him the Black Swallow because comrades in the French Flying Corps respectfully called him the Black Swallow. Of course, you know his name was Eugene Bullard. Now I hope you'll never forget the terrified 10-year-old stowaway who was ironically imported to Europe by a German ship crew one day to be his enemies.
Isn't that something?
Ooh. Yikes.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
You never know where you'll end up.
No. No.
Alrighty, guys. Let's see if my eyeballs will work.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. British Field Marshal Edmund Henry Hindman Allenby was something else. To warfare, it was Allenby who first added the element of surprise, and his classic demonstration of this military art came during World War I. He was commanding the Egyptian Expeditionary Force in Palestine, and of all of the evidence cited by historians to confirm his genius, no single man was more convincing than his conquest of Mi'kmash. And as you know, he doesn't deserve credit for it. Lloyd George wanted Jerusalem for Christmas, but first Allenby had to take Gaza from the Turks, and then he had to get past the heavily fortified village of Mi'kmash. His forces were outnumbered. The geographical approaches were terrifying. History told Allenby that all warriors before him, Syrian and Roman and Crusader, all of them failed to breach the rugged western pass. Well, the general sat alone in his tent. He sketched, discarded a dozen plans of attack. He mused over the unlikely name of this key Turk-held town, Mi'kmash. There were no detailed maps of the hill country, and that was frustrating. And the strange-sounding name Mi'kmash kept forcing itself into the foreground of his contemplation. What was the name of that village trying to tell him? Why did he have such an eerie feeling that somehow, someway, he'd lived through this same experience before? Well, now it's midnight. Allenby's brain is weary from hours of futile calculation. He left the table, blew out the lantern light, and stretched out, still fully dressed, on his cot. Was it possible that he'd been here before, in some other life, perhaps? Or was it just that he'd read the name in the histories of previous military campaigns in the area? Uh-oh, that was it. In an instant, Allenby was off his cot, and he relit his light and sought out the limited library which he traveled with him. He found the book and found the name, and sure enough, the same situation had confronted another military commander in this same place.
Wow.
And the attacking force in his historical instance had, like this, been outnumbered and yet had won the attack. Eagerly, the general pored over the previous account for some clues as to how. The garrison at Mi'kmash covered its approaches, then as now, from three heights: mostly to cover its backside, never dreaming that their enemies would consider a full frontal assault. And yet, in this previous campaign, the attacking force had ignored logistics, had stripped to essentials, and had literally crawled on hands and knees up the craggy slopes to and then through the exposed pass. What a bold decision, Allenby thought. And yet, this was precisely what this precedent situation called for. And it was in a book to which he had always looked for reliable instruction. So he summoned his field commanders to his tent. He gave them the battle plan, copied verbatim from the diary of this previous campaign, and it worked. Allenby's allied troops cut off the Turks, took the town of Mi'kmash, and went on from there to capture Jerusalem by December 9th. Lloyd George had what he wanted for Christmas, and the conquest had been accomplished where so many others had failed by following precisely the experience of one previous military commander who had not failed. The other outnumbered armies, which had taken the same strategic village of Mi'kmash 3,000 years before. For you see, the strategy which Allenby imitated was precisely that of a commander named Jonathan, to the last detail, as described in the 13th and 14th chapters of the book of 1 Samuel in the Holy Bible.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
I know that account. I know that account pretty well.
Yeah, that is really amazing.
You know, David and Jonathan.
Yeah, no, I know. That's
Ironically,
great.
we have our two eldest sons are David and Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you know that?
Wow. That's
Who got caught off guard by that one?
yeah. I did.
Pretty cool. I did.
Totally did. I'm like, what book is
Oh,
he
yeah.
reading?
What is he talking about?
I kind of skipped ahead just a little bit to
I
look
saw
at the
you
end.
doing it.
And then I smiled. I was like, yes.
I saw you doing it. I
Yeah.
thought, oh man, I hope she doesn't give it away.
No, I won't. I wouldn't. I
So-
wouldn't give it away. That's awesome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our hour together is drawing to an end. If you would like to come and hang out, we do a Bible devotion, or I do a Bible devotion in the morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Time Zone, on a channel called Big Family Devotions. And I see a lot of names here that do come, and I think that they would tell you that it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
We learn a lot. We pray for each other. We stay away from goofy conflict.
Denominational.
We stick to
Yeah.
write what's in the Word.
Yeah.
And there's no like crazy stuff.
No.
So 8:30 a.m.
Crazy stuff.
Well, yeah, you'll learn
Not the
stuff.
scripture.
You'll learn stuff that you didn't think. Ask Hermit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You'll learn stuff you didn't think was there, because we honestly just read it and analyze it. We don't try to go, well, this possibly means this over here. No, it's just what's it say?
Yeah.
So 8:30 a.m. Big Family Devotions. So, oh, you remember when David lived in the shed?
Yeah. That was a good. It's a good transition place for him.
Yeah.
So,
And then he went to the army.
yep. Yep.
So anyway, if it's not already apparent enough, we're Christians, we're believers, we love Jesus. And so as we say goodnight, we're going to pray real quick, and stick around if you want, but if not, you've been warned.
Yeah.
There you go. Your mark is set. Here we go. Father God, thank you so very much for bringing each and every one of these people here. Lord, I ask that you just give them a big old dad hug. Let them know they're not alone. Let them know that you love them, and you want to have a personal, deep relationship with them. We love you, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All righty, guys. That's it. Have an awesome and blessed evening.
Yes. Good night.
endure to all generations. Hear my cry, O God, listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. May he be enthroned forever before God. Appoint steadfast love and faithfulness to watch over him, so I will ever sing praises to your name as I perform my vows day after day. Prolong the life of the King. May his years endure to all generations. Hear my cry, O God, listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy.